What's up, family? Welcome back to the Stop Sinking Show, where we go from struggle to flow. One of the things I often get held against me is that I just want to be right. Often people who I find myself in an argument with will dismiss the entire premise of the argument by writing it off as, I just want to be right. And I'm open to exploring this being a fundamental flaw in my personality. But there are things that prove it's not just me. Because what's ironic is that the people who hold it against me are the same people who also tell me I am right the most, who find out I was right the most. So I only find it funny looking at the polarity in their responses, because when it suits them, or when they are open, they can admit or see their wrongs, or that I was right, at least eventually they come around to it. But it's almost like they have resentment then for me being there before they were, seeing it before they did, when it's not things they can easily accept. In other places where they are still not caught up, those defenses come up, and they think I'm saying something, the next thing, as if I just want to be right again. And again, a lot of times they come to find out those things were right, not because I was right, but the things that I was talking about were just objectively right. The things were. What does it have to do with me? Only because it comes from me. It's also ironic because I don't go through life thinking about being right or wrong. And what I find is that it's usually only the people who are starved for being right, who are wrong a lot of the times, that have this relationship with being right or wrong, or even notice it in the first place. Very few things are actually right or wrong, but things can be circumstantially right, I guess. And if someone gets to it before you, then it doesn't only mean that you were wrong. You were wrong in the meantime, a little longer than you needed to be, maybe, especially if somebody else around you can point to what is right in that situation. But we need to learn it ourselves. That's how understanding works. Even if it wastes time, I acknowledge the limits of how someone can't see something because they literally have to come to see the other side of it themselves to have a deep understanding and how it fits into their personal context. Or they will take what you are saying as something that doesn't apply to them. It's only human to do this, which is why I also understand the strong reaction that is held against me when I was the one who seems right, because they came to what I had said later by themselves, just because it was said through me. It's not even holding it against me. It's holding it against themselves for not being right, for not seeing it sooner. And then they project it on me or someone else in your life that you confide in. And I would just stop at this understanding and not push any further, never record this episode. However, the main issue with this is you do this enough times and lament the learning, even if it is late, and you hold it against yourself and project it onto someone else for not being right, then what happens is you hold yourself back from your own growth when other similar situations come up. And it will. Those situations will come up, and you will constantly hit your blind spots. We all have blind spots. But you will have a poor relationship with the people who help you see around the corner. And then you will go your whole life running into walls and learning the hard way. The thing I know is, I do not get any joy out of being right. It's not a fun thing. I do not get any padding to my ego or kicks to my pride. Maybe I did in the beginning, when I was also starved to be right, when I didn't have enough experiences being right. If you accumulate enough over time, if you are right so many times, after a certain point, there is a diminishing return to the kick to your ego, the padding that you get. At this point, when I care very little to be right, when I already know I see something you will end up seeing much later, it's actually a matter of effort and expense to me to try and go down the road of explaining it to you. It is not exactly what I want to be doing with my time. It's not fun. There's a huge pain that also comes with it. You only want to be right or have this concept of criticism because you don't know the pain of being right. You do not know what it's like to feel like being right a lot of the times, to see something someone else doesn't see yet, to watch them and let them go in the wrong direction while you're just waiting for them to catch up. It's not a fun life to live. It's not exactly something I would wish upon someone else. I don't want to be right. It just happens to be that my instinct in that moment, whatever is coming through me, tells me and points me in the right direction. I credit that to what is coming through, not myself. I'm just a vessel by which it is choosing to be delivered into your life. When you criticize me, that is what you criticize. When you fight and criticize me for it, you hold back what is coming through for you. It doesn't affect me other than the energy spent. You have to live with yourself day in and day out. My energy spent is just a fraction of what you will spend going in the wrong direction. And the main thing I think people think is, and this is one thing I'm afraid of because it keeps people where they are stunted more than many other things. And now I'm speaking directly to the people who relate to me, who play my part, who are the sources of right in other people's lives. You carry the responsibility of growth of those around you and how you respond. The thing I see is that when someone does work up the courage to admit they were wrong or say that you were right in hindsight, someone like me, someone in my position, can easily deter future possibilities of breaking through someone's commitment and consistency bias by not being mindful towards them when they do awaken to what was meant to be seen. A lot of people are afraid to admit they were wrong or tell someone they were right in their life because they are met with another starved person in this position who is also right so little that when they are right, they respond with, "Gotcha, I told you so." And with that sort of response, you only hurt the people you were trying to help, assuming you were actually trying to help them and not just be right. When they are met with someone who takes pride in their righteousness, they are shunned back into their cave of familiarity. If you take undue pride, get too much joy out of the fact that they just caught up, then you are contradicting the respect you have for time. When time has the effect that time is meant to have, and the person comes around to seeing something they didn't, and time was actually successful in doing what time does, then it should not be a surprise or a source of pride when the other person catches up. It should not even register as a form of validation for you. That was time's job that it did. The only time it is even worth discussing this is to extrapolate, like, well, what kept you back and what took you so long? What kept you from getting to this understanding a lot faster? How can we not repeat this again in the next instance? How can you objectively listen to the next thing that is coming through for you, towards you? Whatever information, whether it's from me or somebody else that could be right. How do you know to assess if something is right? What did you miss in your assessment? What angle? What bias? What did you stick with for too long? What emotion was too strong that it didn't allow for you to see what was right? What was the truth the entire time? That's really something, and the only thing that I think makes it worth it to have this conversation with somebody who comes to you and tells you that you were right. And even in that, it's only in an attempt for better future instances, not to harp on you being wrong in this last one. Because if you become another bad experience to a person who, in their vulnerability, opens up to admit that they were wrong, then you can understand why they would stay stuck. How you might hinder the future possibilities of their growth because of the way you respond. As someone who tends to get to places or sees things before other people get to see them in reality play out. You cannot hold it against the nature of time and the effect you know it's going to have, because you know time is going to reveal the truth and what's right. So you can't hold it against them or the nature of time to do what it's meant to do. It's not something to take pride in. And while they may still continue to criticize, because it is coming through you and it is hard to hear and hard to realize, and have their own work to do then in coming to peace with the fact that they were wrong, and will externalize their own self-hate onto you, just don't add to it by how you respond if you really want to help. I'll end this with a post that I had on my Instagram for a long time pinned up. It says, I am less eager to make a point than I am to make a difference. I don't want to be right. I want to get it right. I love you, family. Stay true always. I'll see you on the next show.